James, lives in that apartment complex. That's who retained the attorney for Mr. Roy Larry.
Okay. So indicated a family member that lived in Oak Park, right there on the street where this murder took place.
Correct.
Did he offer a name of any individuals that retained him?
If he did, I don't recall if he did at that time.
And in fact, Detective Beasley, throughout your time in investigating this case, do you know that to be true?
Yes.
That somebody on Miller Street retained an attorney for Mr. Larry?
No.
Did part of the investigation cover if any member that's been involved in this case as a suspect had family members that lived on Miller Street?
No.
Detective Beasley, did you have an opportunity to go to a bike shop on June the 2nd? Hang on for 1 second. I will try. When speaking with Mr. Bisbikis on the 2nd, did he ever indicate to you that he had paid an attorney $1,000 to speak with Mr. Roy Larry on June 1st?
No, he didn't.
Did he ever mention to you if he knew the lawyer that came to your police department on June 1st?
No, he didn't.
Are you aware that Mr. Bisbikis and that attorney went to law school together?
I am aware now.
How does he know that?
Ask him if he's aware.
Will that be hearsay?
I'm not asking for any. Yeah.
Foundation judge.
I understand.
Sure. Are you aware who the attorney was that came to your police department on June the 1st?
Yes, I am.
Okay, and you recall who that attorney is?
Trovia Star.
Okay. As part of your investigation, did you learn if Mr. Bisbikis and Mr. Starr may have some sort of connection together?
I did.
Okay, and what was that connection?
They went to law school together.
All right, again, going back to June 2nd, sticking with that day, did you go to a bike shop that day, sir?
I did.
All right, and what bike shop did you go to?
G&R Bike Shop in Detroit.
And why is it that you went to the G&R Bike Shop, sir?
The G&R Bike Shop, the bicycle that was found in close proximity to the shooting scene. It was an electrical bike. Through the investigation, which I wasn't part of, the electrical bike was located. Detective Lieutenant Benson and Detective Sergeant Duncan followed up on a sticker that was on that bike, and it was G&R Bike Shop was the sticker on the bike. They went to G&R Bike Shop, spoke with an employee there who and they explained why they were there. That employee gave them some information via a credit card bill that a Mr. Darnell Larry picked up and paid for that bike the day before.
Is this sticker that you're referring to in Exhibit 162?
Yes, that's the sticker.
All right. And so what was your goal when you went to that G&R Bike Shop on June 2nd?
Detective Lieutenant and Benson and Detective Sergeant Duncan were unable to work the security system, and neither was the employee. They didn't know how to work the security cameras in the security system. Both the lieutenant and the sergeant knew that I had really good knowledge of how to work several different security systems. So he asked me and myself and Detective Tyson to go to G&R Bike Shop to look at the security cameras.
And did you do that?
I did.
And did you recover video from that bike shop on June 1st of 2022?
I did.
And was that video consist of interior video as well as exterior video?
It does.
And did you have a chance to review that video at some point?
I did.
Okay. Have you reviewed a prior testimony here today?
I have.
And it's a fair and accurate video of what you observed of June 1st, 2022.
Yes.
I move for admission of proposed 170.
Objection. Objection.
Thank you. Detective Beasley, describe the angle or the vantage point we're looking at in this video clip right here.
You are looking. This is Graydale in the city of Detroit. The stop sign in the street that's where that blue Jeep and the green truck are. That's Grand River.
You're talking about.
So this is that. Graydale is where the white car, the white SUV, and the black SUV and the black minivan are. So that's Graydale. And then at the top of the photo, that other street is Grand River.
Okay. Now, do you recognize this white vehicle in this video?
I do.
And tell the jury about that white vehicle.
That white vehicle pulled up on the video at approximately 11:37 a.m. on June 2nd.
Excuse me, you mean June 1st?
I'm sorry, June 1st.
Sure.
June 1st. And it pulled up right where it's parked here. The driver got out of the vehicle. He was a heavier set black male with a bald head, wearing black clothing. He walked from the driver's side and he walked towards the stop sign and made a right, and because that's where GNR Bike Shop is. That brick building you're looking at is the building where GNR Bike Shop is at. So he walked and then walked into the GNR Bike Shop.
We're going to play it from here.
Okay.
You're going to approach the witness one more time.
Yes.
Like the views I'm showing you what's been marked as People's 171 through 179. Can you take a look at those, sir?
Yes.
And do you recognize what those are, sir?
Yes, they are still shots from the camera, the video cameras from within GNR Bike Shop and from the exterior of the bike shop.
Still photographs from the video that we just observed.
Yes.
Okay. Fair and accurate of what that shows.
Correct.
You're going to move for admission of 171 through 179.
No objection. None.
Those are admitted.
Here we publish. Detective Beasley, I'm showing you 171 here. If you look at what I'm pointing at here, sir, that's been magnified, what color shoes are on that individual?
Black.
Okay. Do you see anything towards the toe of the shoes?
Yep, it's a white, looks like a white tag.
All right, and 172?
That would be who was later identified as Darnell Larry.
Okay.
Wearing black shirt with white stripe down it, black hat, black pants, black shoes.
And again, this is from inside the bike shop.
That's inside the bike shop, and that's the owner, Mr. Rustin.
Okay. And the timestamp on this, what time? Not the day, but what time?
11:42 a.m.
All right, 173. All right, Detective Beasley, do you recognize if something's on the head of that individual that's being magnified?
I do. It's a brown hat with large letters of Detroit written on the front of it.
Looking at that magnifying of that hat, is that the hat that was collected from the scene on June 1st, 2022?
You can say it's similar, but you can't say
Or sure, does it match similar description from what was collected on the scene on June 1st?
It does.
And, oops, go back. Stay. All right, is there a sticker that's on the bill of that particular hat, sir?
It is. It's a sticker. It's a reflective type sticker that you get when you buy that baseball hat.
Are you aware if the hat that was recovered from the murder scene on June 1st had a sticker to that hat?
It did.
Was it in that same location?
It was.
All right, do you recognize that individual, sir?
I do. That's
Okay,
Mr.
do you recognize the clothing that this person is wearing?
I do.
The person in this still photograph, is he wearing clothing similar to what was recovered from the suspect on the murder scene of June 1st?
Not. Can you rephrase that?
Sure.
Okay.
Was some clothing collected from a suspect at the murder scene on June 1st of 2022? If you were aware.
I was not aware if any clothing was
Okay.
collected
I'll move
from
on.
Mr. Larry.
All right, I'm going to show you this here. All right, looking at that there, the license plate of that vehicle, were you able to, when you were reviewing this video as part of your investigation, were you able to determine what this license plate said, sir?
Yep.
And what did it say?
It said, "She is it."
And with that information, were you able to determine who, in fact, this vehicle is registered to?
Darnell Larry.
Take care, I have nothing else.
Mr. Hutchinson?
Good afternoon, Detective Beasley.
Sure.
So on direct examination, you stated that you were given information, be on the lookout or look for a suspect with a light-colored shirt and a black hat, correct?
Correct.
In your report, it reflects that you stated that you had received information to be on the lookout for a black male wearing a white shirt, blue jeans, and a black hat. So does that refresh your memory that it was a white shirt?
I believe my first initial in my report that was a light-colored shirt, blue jeans, and a black hat. I believe that one of the witnesses told me that the subject had a white T-shirt on.
Okay, so there was a witness that conveyed information to you that the shooter or suspect had a white shirt, black hat, and jeans, correct?
Yes, correct.
Thank you. Now, this person at the bus stop, do you recall how that person was, this person you thought might be a suspect in the shooting?
He had a windbreaker jacket on. He was an older gentleman, and I don't exactly know what exact clothes.
What made you think he was because of the
I
bike?
just literally saw the bicycle leaning up against the glass there.
Did you take the person's name?
We did not.
Did you search him for a gun?
We did.
Okay. Found nothing?
Found nothing.
All right. That's it. I'm good. Thank you.
Thomas,
Judge, I have no question.
any objection to the witness being excused?
No.
No.
Yeah, thank you very much. All right, excuse me. What?
We can.
Y'all, are y'all good to keep going? We need a short
Oh.
break. Okay.
Mayor, can I ask, step out and ask one question of a witness? We're having a schedule. We have plenty of witnesses.
You're all good, right? There's no peer pressure involved, so you just have to tell me. Okay. Are you all doing all right?
Can we approach that with the
See, she's got Can't be everyone's mom. I don't know. Maybe it's mine. All right, so we'll take you guys. I'm going to stay here. You're going to get a quick break. Please no discussion about deliberations in your pants.
You already know you have a history of giving
You ready for the jury?
Yes.
Yes, Your Honor.
No, it's okay. Yeah, but I'm only one that like this plan for the fighting too. Are we bringing one now or bringing one more? Sure. If we don't know, we can see this as a conductor. You ready, Ryan? All rise for the jury.
We are priced.
Have it. All right, you may be seated. Your next witness.
People call him Trovius Star.
Sir, could you please stand and raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear to not to perjure that the testimony you're about to give before this court will be the whole truth? Tell us your name and spell your first and your last name, please.
My name is Trovius Star, Trovious. Last name Star, 2 R's.
So S-T-A-R-R.
Correct.
What is your occupation, sir?
Attorney and occasional comedian.
Okay. On June the 1st of 2022, did you have those occupations?
Yeah.
Okay. And I want to point out the time to you between 5 and 6:30 p.m. in the evening that day. Do you recall that time period?
June 1st, 2022?
Yes.
Yeah.
Where were you at that time?
I was home in Ann Arbor.
What happened at that time?
I was home in Ann Arbor, and my dad's doing some work, and then I got a phone call from Marco.
Marco Bisbikis?
Yes,
Is he in the courtroom today?
yes.
Thank you.
We've agreed to identification, Judge.
The leader of the trial.
Okay. What was that phone call? What did Marco tell you?
He told me, he asked me if I could, because I'm a defense attorney, he asked me if I could basically take on another, defend another murder case, because at the time I already had one.
Okay. Did he tell you why he was asking you?
Yeah, he said he was conflicted out from, he said he had a referral, and he said that he couldn't take the case because basically he told me he knew the deceased and knew the not the accused but the accused family.
Okay.
He like represented them both.
So this was a murder case that he was trying to refer to you?
Yeah.
And he was conflicted out because he knew. How did he know the victim? Did he tell you?
The victim, I think he said he was his friend, and also too he was his client.
Okay. Friend and client. Okay. And did he tell you how he knew or how he knew the family of the defendant, the person who was supposed to have killed the person?
I believe he said he represented the family.
He represented the family.
Right.
Okay. Did Mr. Bisbikis tell you the name of the person who had been shot
When?
on the phone call?
I can't recall.
Did you want to know the names of the people involved?
Yeah, yeah.
Why is that?
because I wanted to make sure that I had no conflicts,
Okay.
so that I could take the case.
All right. So at some point, did he tell you the name of the person who had been shot?
Yeah, he didn't tell me. Well, no, because he didn't tell me the name.
Mm-hmm.
He told me his nickname.
What was his nickname?
I believe he said Hutch.
Hutch. Did you know who that was?
I had no idea who that guy was.
Okay. All right. Did you know anybody by the name of Hutch?
The only dude I knew by the name of Hutch at that time was that he was playing for UFM football.
Okay. And it wasn't that guy.
No.
Okay. So, did he tell you the name of the person who was accused of shooting?
On the phone call?
Yes.
No.
Did he eventually tell you the name of the person who was accused of shooting?
Yes, I believe so.
What did he tell you?
I believe that was right before I left his office. I believe he told me his name was, the accused was Roy Leary.
Okay. And that's on the evening of June the 1st, the day of the murder.
It was evening of June 1st, yeah.
Okay. After this phone call, what happened?
Well, after the phone call, he asked me if I could come to his office to meet the family of the accused.
Okay.
Which, it's normal. You meet the your client's family. That happens.
Sure.
And also, too, he said that he was on the scene afterwards on the scene of the alleged murder afterwards, and that his cousin basically told him what happened. He said he
Okay.
could feel me.
I want to go keep it as much in chronological order as possible, okay? So I understand that we'll talk about that. We'll be able a chance to say that. But I just want to tell me exactly what happened. What did you actually do after? You said that he wanted to come to his office?
Yeah. So, and I agree. I said, okay, yeah, I can come to your office. I can come there.
About what time did you get there? Do you know?
I mean, this was like around 6:30.
The phone call?
Yeah, the phone call was like around 6. I think I got there like 6:45.
Okay. And about how long did you stay there at the office?
I think over an hour because I was waiting for the family.
Okay. So, and this is the all law. That's where you
Yeah.
practice. That's on 13 in Greenfield.
Yeah.
You've been there before, haven't you? Before
Yeah.
this date?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. How many times had you been to Mr. Bisbikis' office?
A lot.
Okay. And why? Why was that?
Because I consider him a friend and a colleague. I've known him since law school. We studied for the bar together. Studied at his house for the bar together. So.
About how many years had you known Mr. Bisbikis at the time of this?
When was this allegedly?
June 1st, 2022.
About 11 years.
Okay.
About a little under 11 years.
Okay. Did you socialize with Mr. Bisbikis?
Yeah. Socialize with all my friends.
With what?
I socialize with all my friends.
Okay, and he's one of them.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. When you went there to the office, you were supposed to go meet the family that was supposed to be hiring you, right?
Right.
All right. And you said when you got there, they weren't there?
No, it was just Marco in the office.
Okay, just Marco and you?
Yeah.
And at that point, what happened?
We went in his office, and he started giving me details of what happened. And he was telling me that he knew these details because his cousin,
Was that Alec, the cousin that he was referring to, was that Alex Secularis?
Yeah,
You know?
yeah,
Okay. And he was telling you that he knew details because he had spoken to Mr. Secularis?
yeah, and also too because he was on the scene and spoke to both Alex and the police.
Okay.
So,
And at that point, did he let you know
who these people were, where everybody was.
Are you talking about like
The people, the man that got shot, the man that actually was accused of the shooting. Did he tell you?
Yeah,
at that
I
point?
mean, yeah. Throughout the conversation about the stuff he knew, one of the first things he talked about was the deceased, the victim.
Did he give you a name? Oh, you said Hutch?
Just Hutch. I just remember him referring to him as Hutch.
Okay.
Like, I don't even. Was it Daniel? Was that his first name?
Daniel Hutchinson. Does that Daniel Hutchinson sound familiar to you?
Yeah.
Could that have been the name that Mr. Bisbikis gave you?
I mean, possibly. I just remember him saying Hutch.
Okay, that's good. All right.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, and then I believe he didn't give me the name of the accused, the person arrested that night, until I was about to walk out the door.
Okay. But did he tell you how he happened to get this referral?
Yeah, because the family. He was saying, he told me that the family of the accused was reaching out to him
Okay.
for him to represent the accused.
Right.
That's what he told me.
And that's when he reached out to you.
Right.
Okay. Did he tell you if he had had some contact with the person that got killed that day, on that day?
I want to say yes, that he was telling me it was weird because he was the person that was shot was at his office earlier that day. I want to say he said that.
Okay. And had he come alone, do you know? Did he tell you that?
I don't
Did Mr.
remember.
Bisbikis ever tell you that he came with his wife?
I don't remember.
Okay. But Hutch was there that day.
Yeah, he told me
Before that
that
killed.
he was there earlier that day.
Okay. And the shooting happened afterwards? Is that what he told you?
Objection. I think at this point, Judge, he should not be leading the witness.
This is David.
Okay. Did Mr. Bisbikis identify anybody by the name of D?
Yeah, D. That was like the contact, the person who I was going to meet that night at his office.
Okay. Did he tell you the rest of that person's name?
No, just that night, just D.
Okay. Did he tell you anything about who was going to be paying you?
D.
D was going to be paying you?
Correct.
Okay. Did he vouch for D at all?
Yeah, he said D. Because a lot of times, unfortunately, as defense attorneys, we get stiff.
Sure.
So, if we have a referral and we know that the person has, the money to pay, we'll vouch for him. Say, yeah, this person has money to pay, and he did that for D.
Okay, because he wouldn't want to refer somebody a case and then that person stiffs you at the end after you did all the work, right?
Right, because afterwards I'll slap him.
You what?
I'll slap him,
Okay. All right.
especially if it's an attorney.
All right. All right. So you want to know that Mr. Green is going to show up after some point.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. So did Mr. Bisbikis explain to you the relationship between this guy D, who was going to pay you, and the person who was accused of the shooting?
No, I just family. They're family.
They were both in the same family?
Yeah. He said the family of the accused, so
Okay.
I guess I just assumed that was his family.
And you were expecting him to be there that night,
Correct.
but he didn't show.
No.
Okay. So Mr. Bisbikis, once you get to the office and you're talking to him, can you describe what Mr. Bisbikis looked like to you?
Well, it kind of varied.
Okay.
It varied at different stages. Because I was there for I think a little over an hour, maybe an hour and a half.
Mm-hmm.
And when he was explaining it, what he heard allegedly, he seemed overall calm. But then when he wasn't explaining, there was a point where we were outside. He seemed you know, just kind of all over the place. I just remember him kind of chain smoking a little bit. So, you know, worry, stress, sad, all of the above, I guess.
Worried, stressed, and sad.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. When you heard about this conflict, had you ever had a case like this before?
You're saying in terms of like,
The conflict itself.
no, not where like both people are like connected to me. No.
Okay.
Usually, I mean, nothing's, you know, anything happened, but usually with a conflict, it's usually like one person, right? You have the conflict with the one person, like you have the conflict because you represented the victim, so now you can't represent the accused because you represented the victim.
Right.
But I never had a situation where it was like, dang, like I know the victim and the accused.
So what do you think of that?
I thought that was kind of odd. So, I thought that was odd right after he told me that when we had the initial phone conversation. So, I called up a friend of mine, another colleague, to make sure that this was a situation I could take.
Really? So I mean, there was. Who you just called the colleague? You mean another lawyer?
I called another lawyer
To describe the conflict to him?
right, to describe the situation as it was parlayed to me, to make sure that one, that you know, I could take the case, but then two, that you know, seems like, you know, just a weird situation, just to get some feedback, you know, hey, I got a weird situation, tell me your thoughts on it. You know?
And after you talked to your colleague, how did you feel about it?
I felt okay. Felt okay because I didn't have a conflict.
All right. So he didn't say anything to you that discouraged you from taking the case?
No, he just no.
Well, you're asking a question that went between someone who was giving advice as a lawyer to another lawyer?
Yes.
Object?
Well, it's overruled. I don't think.
Okay. So he didn't discourage, your friend did not discourage you from taking
My
it?
friend acknowledged that it was weird,
Yep.
but
It's
something I
hearsay,
could do.
Judge. It's just hearsay.
Okay.
I understand, but does it go to this literally goes to the truth of the matter asserted? So I don't understand how.
So did you decide to take the case?
Not at that point, no.
Okay. But later?
Later on, yeah.
Okay. All right. So when you talked to Mr. Bisbikis, did he give you anything?
He gave me a couple things.
What did he give you?
I remember him giving me like a piece of paper with a phone number on it.
For
and
who?
huh?
Who was the phone number for?
Someone from the Oak Park Police Department.
Okay.
And I want to say he wrote down the accused's name. I may have told him to write it down so I can remember the name.
Right.
Sometimes my memory goes out. And then also too, he gave me a check.
A check. Okay. Can I approach the witness?
Yes.
I want to show you what's marked as People's Proposed Exhibit number 181. Is that like a photocopy I'm showing you?
Yes.
Okay. Do you recognize what's in there?
Yes.
What is that?
That's the check he gave me that night.
Is that a true and accurate representation of the check?
Yes.
Okay. Move to admit. No objection.
And I don't object.
Okay.
Thank you.
Can we publish that?
No objection.
All right.
181.
All right. Now, what was this check for?
So I was supposed to meet the accused's family or family member that night. Part of that meeting was supposed to be me, meeting that person, making sure that that person likes me, I like that person, but then that person paying me something initially for me to go see, my client wherever my client was at. So I'm waiting for that person or people to come, and they're not coming. So that's when Marco said, "Hey, what if I front you that money, the money that they're supposed to give you? What if I pay that on their behalf?"
Oh, so this is on behalf of the family.
Yes, that's what he told me.
Okay. Did he tell you where they were coming from?
I think he said something like Charlotte. I remember something about North Carolina.
Okay. Did you ever ask? So you said Mr. Bisbikis gave you the name of one of the officers.
Yeah.
Why did? Where did you get the idea that there was an officer? I mean, never mind that. Never mind that. May I approach the witness again? All right. I want to show you an extraction from Mr. Bisbikis' phone, and these are some conversations between text messages between you and him. Can you check those out?
Yes, I recognize these.
Okay. You remember having these conversations with Mr. Bisbikis?
Yeah, a lot of conversations
Right.
after starting that day.
Okay, and they start on June the 1st of 22,
Yes.
and then they go through June the 28th of 22.
Yeah,
Okay,
maybe afterwards too.
all right, but that's what these are, between
Right.
June 1st and June 28th, correct?
Correct.
And these are accurate representations of those text messages.
Correct.
All right, move to admit. No objection.
No objection.
Admitted, thank you.
Thank you.
You may publish.
Okay, now, you said that he gave the name of a detective, or the number of a detective.
Right.
Did you forget that number?
Did I forget it?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, because, all right, I want to just show you what the first text message we're talking about. It's on June the 1st at around 8:39 and 7 seconds in the evening. Would you have texted him, or perhaps you texted him for that information?
Yes.
Okay.
As I said earlier, what I believe was I remember him writing something down on the legal pad.
Yeah.
It was torn up, and I think it was a detective number. But as you can see here, I'm asking before.
Yeah,
the
that's
text.
okay. That's okay.
But that may have been to make sure that the number he wrote down was the right number. Because
Yeah.
from what I recall that night, I kept calling that number and no one would answer.
Oh, I see. Okay.
The number that he wrote down, I kept calling that number and no one would answer.
All right. So you asked him to text me that guy's name, that number again, and he did.
Yeah, that's what it could have been.
Okay.
I definitely remember him writing like a phone number down.
And then about an hour later, Mr. Bisbikis sent you this text, correct?
Yes, because that's because when I'm trying to find my client,
Right.
and I want to say I was having trouble doing so, and I wanted to go I went to the hospital. So at the hospital they asked for name and date of birth. So I think that's why that was.
Okay. So he supplied you the name Mr. Roy Larry, and he supplied you Mr. Larry's birthday.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's around 9:21 and 26 seconds in the evening on June the 1st, correct? I mean, it's
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was in the evening, late.
All right. So now, after you left Mr. Bisbikis' office, where did you go? If you did
I
you go
want to say, again, this was so long ago, so I want to say the first place I went to was the Oak Park police station. And that's
Okay.
when I saw Mr.
Detective Green?
Yeah,
Okay, and
met with Detective Green. And
what,
another guy, too.
what was that all about?
I said, hey, just been informed that my client is arrested. I said I need to, do my job and meet with my client.
And did you tell him who your client was?
Yeah.
What did you tell him?
I said my client is Mr. Roy Larry.
Okay. And what, was he there at the Oak Park Police Department?
No.
Okay.
They told me that he was at the hospital. I think Marco may have told me that too.
Oh, Marco may have told you that? Okay. So, when you were supposed to see, were you going to see Mr. Roy Larry that night?
Yeah, I was
Okay.
trying to.
Did Mr. Bisbikis ask you to tell him anything?
No,
Okay.
no, I don't recall that.
All right, that's fine. All right. So you find out that he's in a hospital?
Yes, either the police or Marco or both told me he was at Beaumont.
Okay.
So I believe after I left the police station, I went to Beaumont.
And were you able to see Mr. Roy Larry there?
No,
Okay, they would not allow you?
they said he wasn't there.
Oh, he wasn't there?
Yeah.
So what happened next?
So now I'm like, well, what do you mean he's not there? And I think that's where the birthday came up, because
Oh, okay.
to give the hospital the birthday.
Yeah.
So then I definitely remember having a back and forth with Detective Green, and like, hey, I need to see my client. Let me see him. And Mr. Green was kind of evasive.
Mm-hmm.
So I just kind of sensed something's not right here. So I believe I called Margo too and said, hey, they're saying he's not at the hospital. You sure this all checks out? And so then it was just back and forth. I went to the hospital like Beaumont maybe about 2-3 times.
Did you ever go to another hospital?
I went to another hospital. I went to Providence.
Okay.
Maybe he thought he was there.
Not
He was
there.
at Providence.
Was he not there?
No, he was not there.
Okay. So that night, did you ever get to see him?
No.
So what happened?
So I said, hey, I tried. I mean, I can't find someone that I don't know where they're at, so I went home.
Did you ever, well, the next day, what happened then?
In terms of trying to locate my client.
Right.
Yeah, I believe the next day I went back to the Oak Park Police Department, and then they didn't let me see him, my client, but they let me talk to him
By how?
on telephone.
On the telephone. Okay. And did you know where he was, Mr. Roy Larry was at that time when you were talking to him on the phone?
I mean, not initially. I mean, Detective Green may have told me, yeah, he's at Beaumont, but
Oh, you don't remember? Or you don't? I mean, I'm just asking if you knew where Roy Larry was when you were talking to him on the phone.
I mean, I assumed the hospital.
Okay. Okay. All right. Now, after that, now that was June the 2nd. Then you would have had the phone call with Mr. Roy Larry.
Correct.
All right. Now, I'd like to direct your attention to that following Sunday, which would have been June the 5th.
Right.
Do you recall that time period?
Yeah, I recall.
Can you tell us what happened on that day?
So, as I stated earlier, I was not retained for the case,
Okay.
right? Between June 1st and, well, some later date, really. At least accepted. I haven't accepted, to represent anyone for any case, right?
Right.
So after June 1st, after that night, I didn't hear anything else in terms of, coming from the family about, retaining me. So I just kind of left it at that in terms of that facet. But June 5th, Dee reached out to me via text.
Okay. Via text.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Did you come to learn what Dee's name was?
Yes, Darnell Larry.
Darnell Larry. Okay. So he reaches out to you by text on the 5th. What happens then?
He's saying that he's heard good things about me, and that he thinks I can do a good job, and he will want me to represent his family member, and think I quoted him the price.
What
Wait,
price-
no, actually, the price was already quoted. So
What was that? The price?
I think it was like 25,000.
25,000. Okay. Did that include the $1,000 that?
Yeah, because I remember sending him a text message saying like 25, of course minus what was already paid, because again it was told to me that that money was on the family's behalf. So
Okay. All right. Did Mr. Darnell Larry tell you that he was going to pay you and retain you?
yes, but that Sunday, he was saying he didn't have all the money
Okay.
to do so, and then at that point, I was going to say no to the case because he didn't have it all. I was going to reject it. Say,
Did he tell you how much you had?
Like 13,000, something like that.
Okay. So he tells you that. What happens?
Yeah, I was going to reject the case, but me trying to seek wisdom,
Mm-hmm.
I called another friend up, and he advised me, hey, take the case. It'd be a good experience, and it's been a hell of an experience.
I can bet it. Did you have contact in person with Mr. Darnell Larry at some point?
Yeah, at some point after that Sunday. Yeah.
Okay. And what was that all
Again, to finally meet face to face, talk to him, kind of get to work a little bit, as a defense attorney, see what I can, what angles I can pursue, what things I can go out and uncover based on what he knows. But sometimes people will know a lot. Sometimes people won't know too much, But then also too for him to ultimately pay me the retainer fee.
about? Okay. So, how did he pay you some money?
Yes.
Okay. Now, where did that happen?
At his house.
At his house. Okay. Did you receive money from Mr. Darnell Larry more than once?
Yes.
And every time you received it, was it the same place or someplace different?
It was always at his house. Like inside of it, it was on his property. Like either in his house or inside my car, like parked in the driveway on the side of the street. It was like always like his house.
And then when he paid you, what form of payment did he make?
Cash.
Always cash?
Yeah, nothing else. Cash.
Okay. So on the first time that you went, whatever date that was, to pick up your first payment from him, what were you expecting?
I believe I was expecting $15,000.
15?
Yes.
Okay. And when you did you go to his house?
Yes.
When you get there, who's there?
I know he was there. Mr. Darnell Larry was there.
Okay. Do you remember where you transacted your business?
Yeah, in his living room.
In the living room. Okay. What happens?
First he was like, "Why you look so sad, man? You look happy. Be happy. You look handsome, man. Be happy." And I'm just like,
He said that to you?
yeah, he said that. I thought that was a little weird.
Yeah.
But then he was like, "Hey, I don't have 15 or whatever he's supposed to have." He was like, "I only have 12." I was just like, "What the hell?"
Yeah. I mean, now okay. So, what happens?
So now I'm thinking, well, I guess I'm here, and I guess I'm thinking, Marva told me that he'll come up with the money. So I said, okay.
So you took the 12?
Mm-hmm.
And when you get it, like you said, it was cash. Do you remember the denomination of the money?
I think it was all hundreds,
Hundreds.
I believe.
And was it bundled in any way?
Yeah, it was bundled. It was all like in rubber band stacks, like different. There would be like one stack, say like $5,000, and be in a rubber band bundle, and it was say $5,000.
It said 5,000?
Yeah,
Okay. Were there more than one bundle?
yeah,
And was each bundle labeled with how much it was?
yes.
Okay. All right. And did Darnell Larry tell you anything about the rest of the money?
He said that he'll come up with it. He said, "I promise to pay you the rest of it."
All right. Now, what time of day, would you always meet at the same time of day for, you said you went to his house on more than one occasion to get money. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, and then would you always go over there at the same time of day?
I don't remember.
Okay. Do you remember if it was at daylight or nighttime when you would go?
I remember the sun being out. I never went over there at nighttime, like when it was dark. I don't think.
Okay. And the payments were always in cash?
Yep.
All right. Did Mr. Darnell Larry eventually pay you the full amount?
Yes.
He did?
Yes.
Okay. So it was it 24,000 in addition to that 1,000?
Yeah. That's what it was. Yeah. That's what I thought it was.
Okay. But, or?
That's, he may have, you know. Now I would have missed it. He may have paid the full 25. I can't remember.
Okay. All right.
But that's what it was supposed to be. Yeah.
All right. Was there the payments that he made to you? I mean, the first payment you said he had $12,000.
So yeah,
All right. Did he make large payments to you or small payments?
it kind of varied a little bit.
Okay. All right. Now, in the meantime, after Mr. Darnell there is doing all this. In the meantime, are you having any contact with Mr. Bisbikis about the case?
Yeah, because that's where I thought it was getting kind of weird because, again, he was conflicted out from what he told me. He was telling me that this was his friend that was murdered, but also too that he represented the family. So I told Marco, "Hey man, you're in a precarious situation here. Just go ahead and take a step back and kind of relax and just tell the family to have all the contacts with me. But if he heard something about the case, he would tell me.
He would. How did he tell you?
Phone call, text, come to the office.
Were you still stopping by his office periodically?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
and stopping by at that point wasn't always exclusively for the case. It
Right.
could have been, may have been close by, which I am a lot. Particular court I go to, stopping by, having lunch there, so on and so
Okay.
forth. But
Like if you're in Royal Oak District Court, you come over and
yeah,
have
or
lunch.
Southfield or something
Yeah.
like that.
Okay.
But there were times specifically where he was like, "Hey, come," as you saw, he come over, talk about the case.
When he talked about the case, would he talk to you at his office when you would stop by?
Yeah, that's the only place I ever met him. Aside from one time up the street, but that's when I told him, "Hey man, I know you're grieving and stuff, so go ahead and fall back." But it was always at the office. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Would he ever call you about it?
Yeah, I think a couple of times maybe.
Okay. Now, had you ever had a similar situation where a lawyer, referred you a case and then continued to check on the case?
I mean, yes, a little bit, but more so in terms of that's been kind of the norm with me when it comes to personal injury cases, because the lawyer is checking to see, if I settled the case or if I had received a judgment, so that way they can get paid their retainer fee.
Yeah.
So I've experienced that where the attorney will periodically check in, "Hey, what's going on with the case?" I guess even now, kind of same thing, checking where things are at. But it's always been a civil case where
There's going to be some money involved.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
Where check in is see where things are at for that purpose.
Right.
But never in a criminal case. Usually, criminal you referred and drop it like it's a bad habit.
So this is something different, the way he was pursuing the case, the way Mr. Bisbikis was pursuing the case.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now, in fact, on June the 9th, can we see? this is again exhibit number 182, and we're on the third page of this exhibit at the bottom, and Mr. Bisbikis appears to have sent a video. Said you, meaning Mr. Bisbikis, sent a video, and it's dated June the 9th, and it's about 4:23 in the afternoon. Do you remember receiving a video from him? Do you remember what that was?
I don't remember receiving a video via text. I remember receiving a video via Facebook.
Okay. Do you remember what that was?
It was a video of like the aftermath of the scene,
Okay.
and he was telling me, that maybe these people are involved, maybe those people are involved, so on and so forth.
Okay. This is the next page. This is same day, June the 9th. Again, 4:24 and 44 seconds. As a matter of fact, all these text message or these messages on this page are on June the 9th, and they're all at around between 4:24 p.m. and 4:31 p.m. And at first, he asks a barber from that area. Was that the area that was in the video he sent you?
Yeah. Again, I remember. I don't know why. I guess because it was so long ago. But I remember all this being on Facebook. I don't remember the text, which is
Okay.
kind of weird. I don't know.
Okay.
But it's text. It shows text.
But he said a barber from that area says his guys said the bicyclist in this video might be the actual guy. The video sucks here, but you might be able to get the police car video. Had you received any discovery yet in this case?
No.
Do you remember? Okay, so you still hadn't. And then he sends you another text right after that. It says, Alex said the shooter had a black shirt and was a mountain-style bicycle, not a motorized bike, and the guy in this video fits the description. Do you remember that
Yeah, 'cause
information?
I remember the video showing some guy on a bicycle. I think a couple guys on a bicycle.
Okay. And then you text back, cops got the wrong guy. They rushed them. Is that what your impression was at that time?
Is that what was my what?
Your impression? Based on what Mr. Bisbikis was telling you. Well, what was your impression, I should say?
That I can't answer. I would have to invoke the.
Oh, okay, that's fine, that's fine. All right, then the next text you're saying to him just a few minutes later, or a couple seconds later, is what's the name of the barber and the barber shop? And then Mr. Bisbikis said, I'm getting that info.
Correct.
You see that?
Yep.
And then you text on the next page, okay.
Okay.
Did he ever give you that information?
Not to my recollection.
Okay, so he never did supply that. All right, now, on the next page, this is a text message that was sent to you by Mr. Bisbikis on June the 23rd at about 4:22 p.m., 4:22 in the evening. And he says, hey boss, you got time tonight after 7? Do you remember this? After 7? Do you remember that text message?
Yeah, I think I remember that.
So you reply, yeah, and then you say, what's going on?
Correct.
And then Mr. Bisbikis writes to you, trying to see if you wanted to swing by to see the video and see if I can look at the discovery. Now the discovery, usually in a criminal case, what's discovery? What is that?
That's whatever the prosecution has. So whatever information about the case the prosecution has, the defense is entitled to it. So police reports, videos,
Okay.
written
So
statements.
all the information that's known about the case by the police and the prosecutor is given to you, and that's called discovery.
Correct.
All right. So he wants to look at the discovery. He
Correct.
wants to look at all the police reports and things.
Yeah, that's what I took from it.
And he said that trying to see if you want to swing by to see the video. And did you remember what video he was talking about?
I believe it was talking about the video of the shooting.
The actual shooting. So as of June 23rd, Mr. Bisbikis actually has a copy of the video.
I believe that's what that's what he's purporting to me.
Yeah. And then you respond to him, call me.
Right.
Do you remember if you ever went there and looked at the video?
I don't think I went there because when he asked to see the discovery, that kind of freaked me out a little bit because I was just thinking, why do you want to see the discovery?
Okay. All right. That's nobody else, had anybody else ever, any referral lawyer ever made a request of you like that before?
In a criminal case? No.
Yeah. No?
No.
Okay. All right, then, on June the 26th, a few days later, Mr. Bisbikis texts you at 10, almost 11 o'clock that night, and says, "Hey boss, can you email a copy of the discovery? I'm trying to fact check some claims, and I want to see if they claimed my clients $100,000 in cash because they are refusing to give it back to us." And then you text back to him and say, the police report said like 8K or 9K in cash, 8 or 9,000 in cash, correct?
Yeah.
All right. Had you turned over any discovery to Mr. Bisbikis?
No.
Okay. But he wants to see the discovery so he can find out what happened to this man.
Objection as to what he wants to do.
That's sustained.
All right. Very good. Did you give him discovery when he asked for it here on June the 26th?
The second time?
Yes.
No.
And then you told him police report said 8 or 9,000 in cash, and then he responded, "You got to be shitting me! I think the cops literally fucking robbed my client." Correct?
Yeah, I believe he's talking about Hutch.
Yes.
Yeah, in this situation.
Okay. And he says to you, "No wonder why they won't give us any information."
Right. That. If I remember correctly, I believe him saying like that was one of the reasons why he wanted the discovery, because the cops weren't giving him any information. And also too, he talked about investigators, so they can look into it. And I just thought that's probably not wise for me to share that.
He wanted
to
turn
give
you
that
up.
to you.
Okay, he wanted you to give him the discovery, and then what did he want to do with it?
Objection. He wouldn't know unless he was told.
Yeah, I don't know what he wanted to do with it.
Okay.
But he was telling me the reasons why he needed discovery in like phone conversations. And when I met with him, he was saying that, like he said in the text, the police wouldn't give him anything. But then also too, he mentioned something about investigators and that he wanted to give it to the investigators as well. And I just thought that's kind of outside my pay grade here. So
All right, what did that seem like to you?
again, it seemed weird, and I can't say why, but it seemed very weird.
Okay. All right. So, did you took the case? You filed an appearance?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. And then you appeared for Roy Larry for a while,
Yeah.
and then at some point you stopped representation, Mr. Larry.
I stopped representing Mr. Larry.
Okay. Thank you. I have nothing further.
Mr. Larry?
I have no questions.
Mr. Thomas?
Thank you, Judge. Mr. Starr, you've known Marco Bisbikis since he was in law school with you.
Correct.
You have a good relationship with him?
Before this incident, yeah.
Okay, and after the event, things have become a little bit strained. Is that why you said before?
Yeah.
Okay. You're a witness in a murder case, correct?
I didn't witness a murder. Well,
You're not a witness in a homicide case? Are you sitting in
I'm
the
a
witness?
in a criminal case, yeah.
Okay, I don't want to parse with you. I really don't want to argue with you. Did you know that Mr. Bisbikis is charged with a conspiracy to commit murder?
I believe so. Yes.
Okay. Now, you did say that you had a business relationship with Mr. Bisbikis, is that right?
Yeah, business and personal.
And aside from the social aspect of it, you were a criminal defense lawyer operating in the same courts that he was operating in, is that right?
Yeah. We see each other sometimes.
And lawyers many times get busy and they can't attend the court hearings that they have scheduled, correct?
That is correct.
And judges are pretty firm about making sure that somebody's there to represent a client.
Oh,
correct?
yeah, I know that firsthand.
And you trusted him to cover for you, is that correct?
Yeah, there was one time in particular in Bloomfield here as well. Yeah, he covered.
Okay. And you covered for him, isn't that right?
That is absolutely right.
And this would be in courts, in district courts and in circuit courts?
That is correct.
And what would you charge each other for coverage?
Very.
If I got a court case in, for example, Livonia, $500, $750 for an appearance?
It all depends on like if I was covering for him, what I was doing. If it was like a simple adjournment, if I'm just saying, hey, judge adjourn the case, then I've got to guess $150, $200. But if I was like doing something on the case, arguing a motion, or there was one time in Livonia where he said he couldn't make it, so I basically handled the case, charge more.
And so there was a case in the district court, in the 16th District Court, that you covered for him, a guy named Franklin Lee Bolger. Do you remember that person?
I remember that day because I was super.
Okay. And do you remember going there on April 28th of 2022?
Yes.
And do you remember appearing on behalf of Mr. Bolger in place of Mr. Marco Bisbikis?
Yes.
And so, as it turns out, what happens is you go to court, Bisbikis has got his appearance, you say your name is Trovius Starr, you're standing in for that person with permission, correct?
That is correct.
And then you do whatever it is that you're going to do.
That is correct.
And so, do you remember what the nature of the hearing was?
For the case I covered,
Yes.
I believe it was a driving my license suspended.
And so,
I think I went back. It was a total of 2 appearances.
well, I want to do that. I was going to do the second one too. And when was the other appearance?
I don't remember when, but when after the first one.
And so, I'm having trouble hearing what you said. Did you say that you did appear at another time and you know the date?
No, I don't know the date. I'm saying it would have been after the first one, whatever that was. The date you mentioned, I don't know if that was the first or the second, but for that particular case, there were 2 appearances made by me in that case.
And would that have been before June 1st of 2022?
Yeah, that should have been before June 1st.
Okay. And so there was a check that was displayed, an exhibit for the prosecution that showed you it showed a detail at the bottom of the check. Do you usually explain what your checks are for when you put out checks?
Yeah.
And the reason why you do that is because you want to write it down so that you remember what it's all about, and you do it at the time you're doing a check rather than try and figure it out months later.
Yeah.
And do you remember what the reference was to that particular check?
Yes, that coverage for court.
Coverage for court. And would you call the Franklin Lee Bolger case coverage for court?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And do you have any record that would show that you've been paid for the services of Franklin Bolger from Mr. Bisbikis on those 2 occasions, late April, and afterwards before June?
Well, first, I believe he paid me like after the second one. I don't think he like split payments up. But I believe he paid me in a check for that.
A check from Marco Bisbikis?
Yeah.
A check for $1,000?
No, I think it was like $700 or $750.
$750. Do you have a copy of that check?
Not on me.
Did you review that check before coming to court today?
Only thing I reviewed a little bit was a preliminary exam transcript. So I did not review that.
Did you, after having conversations with your friend about taking the case, were you very interested in taking that case?
Yes and no.
So let's talk about the yes part. Okay. This was another homicide. You had already represented 2 people in homicides in your 10 years, correct?
I know one for sure.
Well, you had a case, did you not, in Wayne County?
Not murder, no.
And did you have a case in Washtenaw County, another homicide there?
Yeah.
And were you interested in getting experience and adding this to your resume?
Yes, that's the yes part.
And so that's the yes part. Does the no part have anything to do with what happened at the end when you decided that you weren't going to be involved in the case?
I'm sorry, repeat the question?
Did you get fired?
No, I didn't get fired, no.
Did you resign?
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
Okay. Did you have a dispute over money in this case?
No.
But when you talked to Mr. Bisbikis about this particular case, he told you right off the bat that he would have a potential conflict in this case.
That was the initial conversation.
And there was testimony on your direct testimony that he had been inquiring about what was going on, correct?
You mean like throughout the case?
Well, no, yeah, throughout the case, you were uncomfortable, you said, about his inquiries.
Yeah, mainly him asking for discovery.
Okay.
That was the biggest one.
You didn't want the discovery to go out and be floating around there.
Exactly.
He wanted the discovery to give to. Did he tell you?
I'm sorry.
Objection.
I thought your question was I didn't want the discovery floating out there. Not he.
Yes, you did not.
Yeah, I did. I didn't want the discovery.
Yes,
floating out there.
and I understood that.
Do you see an objection?
Oh,
Not yet.
okay. Did he ever tell you why he wanted?
Objection.
I didn't hear the whole story. No, I didn't hear the question.
He said, he started saying, did he ever tell you? That's
Yeah,
hearsay.
you can't. You're on.
It's part of the case.
No.
Well, but hold on. I understand what the rules are, Mr. Spitz.
Okay.
Give me a little
Absolutely.
credit. I understand that. However, you can't elicit what your client said.
Well, all right then. Without soliciting what he said, you knew that he represented Hutch's family. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And you knew that Hutch's family had hired private investigators, correct?
Yeah, I learned that afterward. Yeah.
After the fact?
Well, not after the fact, but like, wow.
Well, I asked for a foundation before he answers that question.
How about
Had-
the next
had you-
question? How about ask the next question?
Did you have any conversations with private investigators? Not telling me what they said or who they were.
No.
All right. You met with Darnell Leary, correct?
Correct.
And on the first occasion that you met him, where did you meet him?
I was at his house.
And it was a money call, was it not?
Yeah, but also to talk to him about it wasn't just the money, but to get a repertoire for each other. See what he knew, and kind of go from there. Because after that, I went and saw my client in the jail.
Well, I want to talk to you a little bit about those days. You initially went out on the night that you met with Marco. You went out to the Oak Park Police Department, and you found out that he was not there, correct?
Well, I knew he wasn't at the Oak Park Police Department.
Then why would you go after hours to the police department to find your client or talk to anybody?
Because I'm a defense attorney.
But what would you expect as a defense attorney to glean from police officers that are probably gone home at 5 o'clock?
I'm sorry, what's your question?
My question is, what could you possibly glean from police officers who probably went home after 5 o'clock?
Nothing. I was trying to see my client.
But you knew already that your client was, you said, in the hospital. You were told that in the meeting with Mr. Bisbikis. Why would you go to the police department?
To let the police know that, one, I'm representing this person, but then, two, for the police to tell me, okay, yeah, here's where you need to go.
You
Because
eventually...
the police cannot stop a defense attorney from seeing his client, and that's where the back and forth between me and Mr. Green came from that night, because it felt like he was stopping me, preventing me, which I believe he did, from seeing my client.
We're going to give the jury a lesson in colloquy from criminal defense
Well,
lawyers.
Judge, I would ask
I
that
wanna
our
ask
counsel
you-
stick to questions.
I
Whether
understand, Mr. Ask a question.
the question is, you know what the merry-go-round is?
No.
It's when you put a
Well,
defendant
Judge,
in a place that
he's testifying.
Hold on, Mr. Thomas. You're going to ask him a question, then you're going to define the answer for him?
I asked him, I can lead, can I not?
I'm going to ask you what's your relevance. I've never heard this expression.
Well, if he hasn't, then he can tell me.
I think he just did tell you, and then you wanted to define it.
No, all I heard was an objection. I didn't hear him say
You
anything.
said no. You said
I said no. I don't know what the.
Okay, then I'll move on.
There you go.
You said that Marco seemed distraught, and you made some observations of how it was that he was acting.
Correct.
You know Marco Bisbikis?
Yeah, I knew him for a while at that point.
Okay, and you know that he has friendships. You are one of his friends. You were one of his friends.
Yeah.
Okay, and he is a caring person. Would you agree?
Yeah, I could say from past experiences, he's helped me out.
Yes.
Done caring things for me.
And he had just lost what he called his friend.
Right.
You agree? So you wouldn't expect him not to be distraught, would you?
No.
Or in some fashion, not really like you ordinarily see him?
Yeah, not put together, not there. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. He gave you information, whatever he knew, and then you went on and represented your client, right?
Yeah.
Now he asked you for information. You you are clear that you did not give him the discovery reports,
Yeah,
correct?
I physically did not give them to him. As you saw in the text, there may have been a time if he asked, like, hey, did they say this?
Mhm.
Maybe like, no, they didn't say this, as you saw like in the text, but I didn't give him.
And he did not tell you that he was getting pressure from his client about the reports.
I don't recall that. I recall investigators.
But you were aware that there were issues relating to the money that was in the car. You testified to that on direct examination, correct?
I mean, from what Marco told me.
Well, I didn't ask you whether he told you. You were aware of the fact that there was a money issue. You testified, right? On direct examination, didn't you say $8,000 or $9,000 as opposed to what they thought they had?
Yeah, your question was, did I know there was a money issue? I didn't know there was a money issue.
Well, wasn't there supposed to have been more money there?
Well, objection. He can refer to what the text message said, because I put that in.
Well,
I'm the party opponent. But you can't ask him what that meant.
Were you told in your text message that was a part of this evidence already in this case that there was a dispute as to the amount of money that the police said that they got and the amount of money that Marco's client said was in the car at the time of the shooting?
Yes, I remember Marco.
You can go ahead.
I remember Marco saying.
Objection.
Again, you can't.
Yeah, I know.
Yes or no?
Put the hat on. I don't know.
Can I do a yes or no?
Judge, the
Without-
You
documents-
can't. You can.
That's why I looked at it.
I know, it's delightful to know that I have an attorney here, so he knows what the hearsay is. So, I'm going to trust Mr. Starr, that he'll answer correctly, and I'm also trusting obviously the attorneys to ask the appropriate questions, and not refer when they're not supposed to be inferred.
Did you ever go over to the jail with a lawyer by the name of Kyle Murphy and asked to speak to Darnell Larry?
No, that was not at the jail. That was not at Oakland County Jail. Well, actually, no, I never went with Kyle Murphy anywhere. Okay?
Okay. And so you wouldn't have been going there trying to see Darnell Larry if you were representing Roy Larry. Is that right?
No, that's actually incorrect because there was a time I went to the Oak Park Police Department once I found out Daniel Larry was in custody,
And what was your purpose in going there?
to see if he wanted me to represent him based on prior conversations.
Okay. Before you took this case, you consulted with a lawyer, is that right?
Correct.
And you told him that you didn't feel right about it,
Correct.
and the lawyer told you the advice that you received from the lawyer was that it was okay and that you should take the case.
Yeah, no issues on my end.
And so you didn't have a conflict.
Right.
And you told Mr. Darnell, Larry, that you were going to charge him $25,000 3 days after you left Mr. Bisbikis' office. Is that right?
But not necessarily. No.
Well, let me do this piece by piece. Did you tell him the fee, retainer, would be $25,000 when you talked to him for the first time? Do you remember that?
When I talked to him, yeah, for the first time.
And that did not include a trial fee. It was just $25,000 to represent him
Oh no, there was a
pre-trial.
trial fee.
Yeah, that would be separate.
Right.
Okay. And on that $25,000, you didn't say $24,000 because you already got one.
Right.
You told him 25.
I said 25 minus the 1,000. That's what I said in the text message.
You have a retainer agreement?
Yeah.
Is it in writing?
Yeah.
Can you, and does it say minus $1,000 that's already been received?
I don't recall.
Okay, so here at 7:30 at night, Mr. Starr, you go to see Marco Bisbikis at his office. You're not taking a retainer agreement with you then, right? You're going to have him sign it later, correct?
Correct.
And if you say that you're going to get $25,000, you're going to acknowledge the $1,000 that you say that you received from Bisbikis for that.
That's correct.
Is that in your retainer agreement?
I can't recall.
Okay.
I recall it in the text message, but in the agreement, I can't recall if I put that in it. But it was in the text message for sure.
Okay. So you go to meet Mr. Darnell Larry, and you go to his driveway, so you're going to exchange cash with him, right?
I met him inside his house the first time.
Okay. Inside?
Inside his house.
And when he went there, you were expecting that he was going to give you $25,000.
No, I was expecting, I think, not 15, but like 13 or 14 or something like that.
14. So I thought your original retainer was going to be $25,000.
Yeah. But he was,
And I thought you went out there expecting that you were going to get 25 and that he knocked you down.
I believe that, as I stated, or at least I alluded to during the rec, that Sunday when he texted me, he was saying he didn't have it all.
Okay.
So that's where I was going to say no to taking the case. But then a friend told me just take it for the experience. Just
But the
take whatever
20
he asked for experience.
If he had the 25,000, you would have taken it, right? Because that's
Yeah,
what
if
you
he
expected.
said in the text message I have 25,000, I said yeah, I'm taking it.
And your retainer agreement was going to be for 25,000, right?
Right.
And when you go there, he doesn't have that money.
Right.
He has less than that, and he knocks you down significantly.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And you said 14, 13, 12. You don't remember, but it was cash, right?
It was cash.
Did you give him a receipt?
I did not give him a receipt.
You know what? I just got handed this. I want you to take a look at it, John.
Judge, can we approach the bench?
Sure.
Did there come a time when FBI agents came to see you?
Yes.
And was this at your home?
Yes.
Do you have an office, home office? Is that what it is?
I have office and home office.
And were you there at the time?
I was nuts.
And did you give him a phone call afterwards?
No, my then fiance, we're separated now, but she gave me the phone to, so I could talk to him.
And when you did they leave a card? And did you talk to him afterwards?
No, I talked to him then.
You called them back when
No,
you
I didn't
got
call
home.
him back. She listened to me. She handed them the phone, and I spoke to them like this.
Right there.
Right.
Okay. And what did they have to say to you?
Objection.
What did you give them any information about your representation of Mr. Larry?
No, because I'm smart enough than that.
Say it again.
Because I'm smarter than that.
I wouldn't doubt it.
No,
I wouldn't doubt it. But you did not.
I didn't.
Okay. And were they satisfied with your answer? If you know.
Objection. Calls for speculation.
Did they go into anything further after
Objection.
that?
Calls for hearsay.
I'm not asking what-
Not asking what they said, so did they go in further?
They left a card and said,
Nope, don't tell me what they said.
that's their face.
Yes.
Lori had it. They left a card.
They had already left a card before the phone call, right?
No,
Where were you when the phone call was made? I'm sorry, I'm not understanding you.
I was in Westland.
Okay, they left a card. Did they come to Westland?
No,
They left a card at your home. Isn't that what I just asked you?
I don't know what you're asking me now. If they came there, I talked to them, and then they left a card. That's what happened. In a nutshell.
All right. Well, Mr. Starr, were you appointed in Livonia to represent anybody that Mr. Bisbikis knew?
Objection. Relevance.
Were you appointed to represent Alex Sakalaris in Livonia?
Kind of, but not appointed to represent him. I do arraignments in Livonia, and one time while I was still on the case, I saw Alex was scheduled for an arraignment in custody.
Did you know his name?
Yeah, as soon as I saw his name, I was like, oh wow.
Was that after the June 1st date?
Yeah,
Okay. And did you disqualify yourself?
yeah. I saw his name. Keep the lawyer hat on. I saw his name. Yes, afterwards I disqualified myself.
Thanks, Judge.
Anything else?
No, thank you.
Briefly.
Sure.
Sir, when you were attempting to find your client, Roy Larry, were you of the opinion that the police were interfering with your ability to see your client?
Yes.
Objection. That calls for speculation.
No, it's what he thinks. It's his opinion.
Then what's the relevance?
Relevancy is the investigation and how it turns when the police are not allowing a lawyer to see their client.
He's asking for his impression.
Yeah. No. Jury will disregard. Yes.
You feel the prosecutor's office or Mr. Skrinsky owes you a favor?
Do I feel that way?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you put that in writing in an email to anybody, to an assistant prosecutor recently?
I don't think I put it in writing, but I mentioned, something to that effect in terms of trying to, see if I can help a client out of mine because of this whole ordeal.
So you were looking for a quid pro quo. You're looking for some favor from the government or the prosecutor because you're coming in here to testify on behalf of the government?
I wasn't looking for it. I was seeing if that was possible.
You made a statement that they owe you a favor, right?
Something to that effect. I don't know if I use those words like a favor, but basically something like you know, let me see if I can contact them to help a client out.
Thank you.
Mr. Thomas? Mr. Scripps?
Okay, Mr. Starr, have you been given any special favors by the prosecutor's office as a result of your testimony?
Oakland County, I wish.
Have you?
No.
Okay.
Not
Did anybody ever offer you or say that you would get an offer of favor after you testified?
No one said that explicitly to me, no.
Okay. Thank you.
When did this conversation take place with the other prosecutor where you said that you were looking for a favor from Mr. Skrinsky? You called him John.
I called him John.
And when was that?
That was I think like last week.
You weren't on stage at that point in time, were you? You were in court, weren't you?
Court is my stage.
So you feel sitting up there in a murder case that you're on stage and you're not a witness?
No, I said the court is my stage, like where you're at right now.
Okay. So the question isn't whether you've been paid already or you have gotten any consideration. You were looking for him to do you a favor, correct?
No, because if I was looking for it, I would have been like, all right, it's a done deal. I was hoping.
You were hoping, and you were mentioning it, so you had a hope that you were going to get a favor.
I had a strong hope that, okay, maybe they can help me out with this one plan.
And that was last week. You still haven't had time to get that favor yet, have you?
Oh, well, they shot it down.
But you knew you were going to be testifying in this case either today or some other day, correct?
I've already testified in this case.
And testify again today.
Right.
And you're saying, I'm going to testify again, I want a favor. You asked John to give you a favor at a time when you were going to be coming into court to testify again. Isn't that correct?
I mean, I guess.
Thank you.
This past week, did you receive an email, or were you copied on an email regarding this subject?
Hearsay.
Yes.
Thursday? All right, so.
Oh, you said Thursday?
Objection.
Oh, I don't know what you're saying. I mean, what are you saying? I don't know what word you're
I object. It's a hearsay
Oh,
document.
hearsay.
If Mr. Skrinsky wants to
I'm
take the
asking for
stand,
hearsay.
let him do so.
What? No, Mr. Spence is not becoming a witness. I don't know how far down you want to go down this rabbit hole, but go ahead.
Did you receive an email?
Yes, I received the email.
You were copied on this email, correct?
Yeah, I copied it and I received it.
Yes. And the author of that email was me, correct?
Yes.
Did you notice who the email was actually addressed to? It copied to you, you were copied, but did you notice it was addressed to Mr. Bitworth, and Mr. Naughton, and Mr. Thomas?
Oh, no, I saw names of other Oakland County prosecutors.
Mm-hmm.
So I may have overlooked that.
Okay. All right, that's it. I got it.
Anything else? All right. Any objection to witness being excused?
No.
No.
Okay,
No.
thank you very much. You may step down. You are excused. Watch your step.
See you next time.
Oh, okay. All
Thank you, Mrs.
right,
Scott.
we're gonna stop here for the evening. How about a tiny bit, little bit starting late, maybe getting here by 8:45? Does that work with everyone? I know. Keep looking at the mom. All right, so 8:45. As soon as you're here, we'll get going again. No discussion, no deliberations, no going through social media about don't look for anything in the case. If you happen to see this case pop up, turn away, ignore it. Don't read anything, don't watch anything. Have a safe evening. We'll see you at 8:45. All rise for the jury.